Ugh. Have you been feeling it too? That pressure in the background? Like something's pushing you from within. Maybe nothing dramatic is happening on the surface, but your body, your intuition, and your spirit knows something is shifting. This isn't just anxiety. This is Mars opposite Pluto. And this one, April through early May 2025, is the final confrontation in this trilogy that began last fall. This aspect is personal, it's spiritual, but most of all, it is unavoidable. And it's asking you to confront your fears, step into your truth, and claim that power that's always been yours. So let's talk about what's happening, why you're feeling it, and how to work with it. So, April 17th, which is today, Mars enters Leo. April 18th, Mars is within 3 degrees of opposing Pluto. On April 26th, Mars is at 4 degrees Leo, opposing Pluto at 4 degrees Aquarius. This is exact. On May 2nd through the 4th, they begin to separate, and Pluto slows to station retrograde. So, this aspect, the way that they're talking to each other, this builds gradually. But many of us are already feeling the tension rising. But here's the key. This isn't the first time you've been through this confrontation. So let's look back. So the first opposition, this was back in November. So like the late October, 1st of November, November 2nd, 2024. Um, this is when Mars was at 29 degrees in Cancer and Pluto was in a Capricorn still, right? So it was at 29 degrees. Pluto was still in Capricorn and Mars in Cancer. And what this did was it stirred emotional responses to control, authority, legacy, and pressure from family or society. So you may have felt deep emotional tension triggered by family dynamics or systems. You may have felt pulled between comfort and your true path. You may have also felt the need to protect or react defensively. That was the first whisper. And what they were whispering was, where are you giving away your power to feel safe? That's what Mars and Pluto opposing were asking you. Where are you giving away your power to feel safe? Now, the second opposition was like the end of December, like it was New Year's Eve, New Year's, right? The end of December, January 1st, 2025. This is when Mars was retrograde. It was stationing retrograde, and Pluto was just entering Aquarius at 0 degrees. Okay. So they were in opposition at that time. Now, those themes that you may have experienced were like identity crisis or self-doubt. Am I doing it right? Am I seeing it correctly? Did I make the right choices? Right. Also, there was fear of visibility or being seen. Right. Also, you could have been emotionally burnt out. That was for a lot of people. And decided to like isolate and retreat, right? This was also, you could have been questioning your role in the future. Where do I fit in to this new society, this new life is looking kind of weird? We're not doing what we used to do, and I'm trying to figure out how I fit in here. The second hit brought ego recalibration. That's what it was doing. You were being asked by Mars and Pluto, where did you perform to be accepted? And are you ready to stop? I'll repeat that. Mars and Pluto, Mars retrograde, Leo, and Pluto in Aquarius at 0 degrees was asking you, where did you perform to be accepted? And are you ready to stop? And that brings us to now, the final opposition. This time, both planets are direct. So Mars in Leo is fiery, sovereign, ready to take bold action. And Pluto in Aquarius is rooted in collective transformation. Systems have been evolving and energetic truths have been coming out. This opposition is not a war, it's an invitation to truth. So I want each of you that are listening to ask yourself, what am I resisting because it would change everything? And where am I shrinking to avoid transformation? I'm going to repeat that because this is so important. I want you to ask yourself, what am I resisting because it would change everything? And where am I shrinking to avoid transformation? This is a spiritual confrontation that ends a karmic chapter. What you choose now becomes your next timeline. Okay, so let's help you anchor this. Let's help you reclaim your power and your soul-led action. All right. So what I've done to help you is I have come up with a steps to take, a ritual, whatever you want to call it. But this is to reclaim your power and your soul-led action. Okay. So what you're going to need for this is you'll need a black candle, which is going to represent Pluto, and then a gold or red candle, which is going to represent Mars and Leo. Okay. You're going to need a bowl of water. You're going to need a pen and paper. Okay. And you can add, if you are led to, you work with crystals and you like crystals, then a garnet or an obsidian will work. Okay. For those of you that are led to or resonate with mirrors, you can use a mirror with this as well. Okay. But those are optional. Now, you want to do this between now, when this video comes out, to May 2nd. But ideally, to use the energy, you want to do it on April 26th, because that's when Mars and Pluto go exact. Okay. So what I want you to do anytime between now and May 2nd, but ideally April 26th. Okay. What you want to do is find your space. It can be the space where you do the full moons and new moons rituals, or the full moons and new moon steps, right? But set the space. Okay. So I want you to light both candles. Remember, the black one is representing Pluto, which equals transformation. The gold or red one, it doesn't have to be both, equals emerging yourself. Okay. That's Mars in Leo. Okay. So then I want you to reflect. And how you're going to do this is you're going to sit and you're going to breathe. And I want you to recall what surfaced at the end of October and the beginning of November. Okay. And then I want you to recall what occurred, or what surfaced, what came up, what was coming up, what were the themes that were happening at the end of December and the beginning of January. Now, this should be easy for you because the end of October, 1st of November, that was Halloween, right? And then the end of December and into January, that was New Year's Eve, right? Then I want you to write what you're releasing, and then I want you to read it out loud, and then I want you to let it go. And that would be representative of you're either burning it, or you're pouring water in it, or you're tearing it and putting it into the ground. Different people will resonate with different things. I want you to let your spirit lead you, right? So I'm just giving you the options, okay? Then once you do this, I want you to face the gold candle or the mirror, and I want you to say, I am ready to live in the truth of who I am. I act with heart and clarity. What I burned has no power here. I rise as the sovereign light I have always been. And this is you anchoring, speaking your claim, right? So I'm going to read it again. I am ready to live in the truth of who I am. I act with heart and clarity. What I burned has no power here. I rise as the sovereign light I've always been. And then I want you to do a water blessing on yourself. You are a powerful, spiritual, energetic being. You can bless your water. Okay. So, and we can go about the science about it later on in another video. I have plenty of videos like that, right? But we're going to do this water blessing. I want you to touch get some water in your fingers. Touch the water to your forehead and your heart. And I want you to say, I cool the fire with wisdom. I water this new self with compassion. I move forward, soul-led, not fear-driven. I'll read that again. I cool the fire with wisdom. I water this new self with compassion. I move forward, soul-led, not fear-driven. I'll say that again. I really want you to stick this into your being. Okay? Touch the water to your forehead and then to your heart and say, I cool the fire with wisdom. I water this new self with compassion. I move forward soul-led, not fear-driven. Now let this seal into your readiness. Let it seal, let it stick. Like really envelop this for you. Now remember, this is the final square off. Mars in Leo wants to lead with boldness. Pluto in Aquarius says, then make it honest. This week and next, you are standing between two worlds. The version of you that survived and the version of you who is ready to live. If those aren't truer words for many of you, this is the fire walk. And what rises from the ashes will be true. If I helped in any way and you liked what you see, please do me a favor and like and share and subscribe. It really helps my channel and it tells me whether you want to go in this direction or not. Until next time, my beautiful ones, I'm sending you all the love and all the clarity. Bye.